Hello, and welcome to At All Hours. I'm your host, Greg Ramirez, and this is episode number 4. We have a lot to cover today, so I just need to jump right into it. I have some papers here that I need to go over some stuff with you guys. Let me see here. Got our topics. But today I'm telling you guys, okay, you need to pay attention today. You need to listen up because we have a lot to go over. Okay? You guys with me? First topic of the day. We're just jumping straight into it. No bullshit, no faff, no fucking around. Okay? I'm done with it, dude. I'm done with it. I'm sick of you. Specifically, you. And you know who I'm talking to. Okay? You know it's you. Fear. First topic of the day, fear. What is it? Right? Well, we already know what it is, but that's not, I don't know. I was just like I just kind of ran out of steam on that, honestly. That intro took a lot out of me. But one of the things I think about all the time is all the things that I'm afraid of. Because, I mean, it's weird because I'm not like afraid of a lot of different stuff. I'm actually not I'm like actually really brave. But the things I am afraid of, I am deathly afraid of. And they're also why those things, they're very like circumstantial and like specific to like a thing that I wouldn't just encounter the things that I'm afraid of. I would hope. I mean, obviously, like, you don't want to. But I guess what I mean is like I wouldn't be in situations typically like in my day-to-day life that I would be like afraid of those things, Like one thing, for instance, is some more Greg lore. This might be a Greg heavy episode. Not that it's just not like every episode isn't going to be like that because, it's just me. Like it's not me with all my friends here. It's just me here. Like it's just me sitting in my room. But it's like certain situations you could be put in where you're afraid of something. Let's say I don't know, like being mugged, right? Like let's say you go to work and you take the bus to and from work or something. You're like in public areas a lot, or you walk everywhere you go, and then that's something that could be scary to you, or if you're like in an area where you're afraid of like someone breaking into your house, like they're really real fears, and then there are also things that you can come across in your day-to-day life. It's not so strange to be like, oh, this is something I'm afraid of, or like coming across someone like in a public area and someone like threatening you or something like that. Like I think those are really rational fears, and they're also things that can happen to you in your day-to-day life. For me, those fears are like I've been in fights with grown men, so I'm not afraid of people when I see them. Just, what's up, man? Like, what's going on? That's it, And then when it's like someone breaking into my house, that's all I think about. For years, it's all I thought about, that someone was going to break into my house. It was literally like a delusion that I had, like PTSD from where the house I grew up in when I was a kid, because there was like drive-bys on the street that I lived on. There were like crackheads running around and trying to rob people. There were people breaking into our yard, bunch of shit, right? So I was super paranoid when I was a kid, and then when I became an adult, it kind of started to change because now I was like old enough to like defend myself, and I was capable of hurting people. It's all I thought about. But now it's like I have a house. I live in said house, and it's a house. It's not like a gated apartment or like a community. It's just a house, and if someone could break into my house, go for it. Because I think about it all the time, and I already know what I'm going to do. And like, because everyone's like, oh, someone's going to break into your house. You're going to like, oh, I would kill them. whatever. Not me. I'm not gonna. Why am I gonna kill you? Like, if you're gonna break into my house, I'm gonna fucking. You know what? I'm not gonna go on record and say the things that I would do exactly in specifics, but I can just, like, if you guys have seen the Hostel movies, that's all I'm gonna say, and then I'd kill him. But that's like, those are rational fears. I think those are like normal things to be afraid of. What am I afraid of? Whales. I was gonna be like a mic drop moment, but I'm not gonna drop my microphone. This is like a fucking actually nice microphone, so I'm not gonna do that. But you could put in a sound effect of a microphone dropping, or don't, because I'm the editor also, and I'm not gonna do that already. So anyway, yeah, I have a weird fear of whales. All my friends know that already. I don't know where I developed it, but it is sickening. Anytime I see whales, it makes me like physically ill. I don't know why. I don't encounter whales in my day-to-day life outside of when I occasionally go to Walmart to buy stuff and I see them riding around in motorized carts. But outside of that, I don't really come across them that often. The closest I've ever seen one is at the fucking, what is it, Aquarium of the Pacific, and they have the giant, like, to scale whale. I didn't know about that, and I went there in like my 20s, or like early-ish 20s, and went in, and I was like, oh my god, why is that there? I mean, like, it makes sense, but it's just like personal. It's like a personal attack, like it's like going somewhere, and then it's like, if you're afraid of like being mugged, or like you're afraid of someone breaking into your house, and you're just like, you go to a restaurant and there's part of the restaurant experience is someone coming in and robbing the restaurant. And they're just like, oh, this is just like part of it. Okay, cool. I didn't need that, but I appreciate it, I guess. I appreciate the theatrics. But yeah, I'm afraid of whales. Just like sea life in general freaks me out. Totally weirds me out. I love eating it, but like seeing it, touching it, like in the ocean, freaks me the fuck out. Which is the biggest thing, because like I think like when you look at like sea animals, they look so different from land animals. No shit, right? But it's kind of like when you see like a deer or a giraffe and a dog, different animal, very different animals. They look very different, but they all, like, you could see kind of like they all like have something in common. Like, they all look similar. They have like 4 legs, whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? But then it's like, you compare a dog to a fish or a fucking sea lion. You compare a sea lion to a land lion, which we just call lions because they were here first. And then you look at them side by side and you're like, these are 2 different creatures from different planets. Sea lions are fucking creepy and weird looking. Okay? I don't believe all that bullshit about people being like, they're so cute, whatever. It freaks me out. Sea creatures just freak me out. The thing is, I also have a general fear of like large open spaces of like the ocean. I will get like nauseous if I'm exposed to the big open ocean. Like, my biggest fear ever is like being on like a small boat. And not even like a speedboat, like not like that small, like a canoe, right? Because I feel like in a like decent sized boat, I'm like, okay, realistically, it's not good, but I mean, it's better than nothing. But I mean, like being in a canoe, being in a canoe in the middle of the ocean, which I don't know why I'd be canoeing in the middle of the ocean. I don't know if that's how that works, but whatever. Being out there and like just seeing fucking whales around, like, it's my biggest fucking nightmare. It's the worst thing that could happen to me. Not even sharks, because at least sharks like will try to kill me. Whales, they're just going to be fucking existing. They're going to be breaking my arms and legs just swimming past me and be like, oops. Sorry, pussy. Maybe you should have, I don't know, I don't know what whales would say, but like sharks, if a shark saw you in the water, he'd be like, mine, and then just eat you, and that's it. There's nothing. I mean, there's plenty to be afraid of. It's not gonna be quick, but you at least know, like, oh, it's gonna attack me and kill me and consume me, right? But with whales, they're just gonna be like, oops, and then bump into you, and then you snap your arms in half, and then you're just floating in the water now, and then they're just like sucking in water and shit. They might even swallow you and just like not even digest you, just kind of keep you kicking around in there. I don't know, it's just fucked up, freaks me out. Anyway, I have a lot of weird fears like that. I also, though, had a recent, like, developed a new fear or like an animal to be afraid of. I'm only afraid of like like ocean or water things because I started developing a fear of like alligators. Why? Again, if I'm like, I don't go to 7-Eleven to buy fucking beer and then I'm just like, oh, I need to go to the other 7-Eleven because there's fucking alligators at this other 7. It's like, no, I don't come across alligators, but I've been having dreams about alligator, like being in a, not even a body of water. It's like I had like a dream where I was like in a fucking stairwell that was like flooded and there was alligators in there. I couldn't move. I couldn't get out. I was cornered. Why the fuck am I having dreams like that? Like, what does that mean? Anyway, whatever. Fear's gay. So are you. Moving on to our next topic here. Okay. Fear. It's over. It's done with. Got a little Greg lore. But before I get into the rest of these topics, I actually have a thing I need to share with you guys. Just something that happened. It's like a story time, okay? This is going to be, we'll cover more of these topics. There's plenty to go over, but there's just a story that we need to go over. We're going to go over some stories today. Story time, okay? Greg lore and story time, okay? Buckle the fuck in. Okay? So this happened recently, and I was basically going to be preparing for like a small gathering of friends, right? And just kind of have some friends over. We're going to be outside just kind of barbecuing and hanging out, doing whatever. We do this pretty often, but it's just, depends on how many people are coming or what we're going to do. So like on this day, we were going to barbecue. So I go outside, and right now it's summer, so it's hot as shit. And so I go outside, and I'm like, I got to clean up, right? So I got to clean up the outside area. I got to spray down a bunch of chairs and like clean out my grill, clean off a table, like just do all this different shit to kind of prepare for everyone to get here later in the day, right? So I'm outside, and I'm like, we have like a bunch of chairs like on the side of our house, different kinds of chairs. And so I'm like carrying them all out, lifting all these like stacks of chairs, taking them down, wiping them all down, spraying them, doing whatever, typical cleaning activities. And it's like 90 degrees outside, 90,000 degrees outside. It's hot, right? So I'm moving around. I'm doing a bunch of stuff. I have to fucking clean my grill. I'm like lifting the grill and fucking moving it around because one of the tires fucking broke off and shit. So it's just been a mess. So at one point, I'm like trying to spray down some of the things, and our water hose was all fucked up because our dumbass gardeners weed whacked it or something. We don't have gardeners, like we don't hire gardeners. Like I don't want it to be like, oh, our gardener just hit my water hose, and well, I'm gonna go ahead and get with Miguel and tell him about it. It wasn't that. We don't hire gardeners. It's like we live on like a property, and the landlord pays for gardeners to come and fuck up our water hose, apparently. So I'm trying to like clean stuff off, and there's like a bunch of like cuts and like lacerations in the fucking water hose. It's like spraying water everywhere, and I try to like tape it up, right? But I guess the pressure like builds in the wrong area, or something happened, or it's like weak where I'm holding it, because at one point I'm spraying everything down, and I'm wearing like, a t-shirt and shorts, and I'm spraying down one of the chairs, and I'm holding the water hose, and it like explodes in my hand, right? And it just sprays water all over me. So like the front of my shirt and like my shorts are completely soaked. I'm like, motherfucker, man. So whatever. I just finished. I power through everything, get it all cleaned up. Okay, finally done. I get everything ready. I get everything like set where it's gonna be, and I'm like, already tired because I've been busting my ass all day. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go take a shower now. And I go to take a shower, and I get like my clothes, go into the bathroom, turn the shower on, and I'm like, you know what? Earlier today, I kind of had felt some rumbling in my stomach. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? Chat, you there? But the thing is, like, I don't know if it's, it must not be just me, but it's like, when you're like cleaning or like doing something, it could be like if you're cleaning or working out, and then you feel like stomach cramps, like I gotta take a shit. And you're like, I don't want to go and then like sit on the toilet for anywhere between 5 minutes. If you're like, I guess most people only take like 5 minutes. Or if you're like me and you could be there anywhere between 10 to 35 minutes, depending on how much shit you have inside of you or how much shit you're watching on your phone. So, shampoo bottles too. If that's like your prerogative, that's cool too. But usually I just don't like to go and like, cause you're sitting there, you're already hot from cleaning or working out, and you're like sweating, and then you're sweating from shitting, and it's just a whole thing. And then you go back out to keep cleaning, and you're pooey and sweaty. It's just a whole fucking thing, right? So I just didn't. I was like, I felt it earlier, just ignored it, shrugged it off. But now I'm gonna take a shower, so I'm like, well, let's fuck around, see if something comes out. I don't feel anything right now, but you put yourself in the position, and it might just kind of come a knock in. So I turn the shower on, like I said, and since I'm gonna take a shower, I like get completely naked, right? So like I take my shirt off, and I pull my shorts and my underwear down, and like kick them off in front of me, and I sit down on the toilet, and like nothing happens. Like I'm just kind of like sitting there. I'm like on my phone, just kind of waiting for something to happen, And I look at my little pile of clothing in front of me, and I see like my clothes are, they're wet still, or they're like damp, right? From the water hose blowing up. So I'm wearing like light green shorts and like light gray boxers, but now they're like darker because they're wet or like damp, right? But like I see that like because I like took off my shorts and my boxers in like one like motion, just kind of threw them in front, so I could see like my boxers are kind of sitting inside my shorts, and I look and I see like I said, they're dark because they're like damp, but I see like a certain part of it like looks darker, right? And I'm like, that's kind of weird. And it's like it catches my eye. Like I'm like, okay, this is not happening. This like I don't have to shit. So I'm gonna get up, but I just like see it, and I'm like, what is this? And I like lean forward and like I look closer at it, and I see it's like this like dark brown color. And I'm like, my first thought is like, I shit myself. At some point, like I was outside like lifting chairs, and it was like just really strenuous, I guess. At some point, like I like lifted something, and like just it was like too much pressure, and like I shit myself, and I didn't even realize it. Like damn, 31 came at me like a motherfucker. But I realize it's like a dark color, but it's not like brown. I'm also there's more added Greg lore. I'm like partly colorblind, so I can not tell some colors like exactly apart from others, like browns and reds and oranges. Like I have like trouble distinguishing some of them. So I just see like a dark stain. It looks kind of brownish. But I'm like, I don't, like, I'm not even shitting right now. Maybe that's why I'm not going. I shit myself earlier at some point. But I'm like, I don't remember anything like that. Like, I feel like that would, there would have been a moment where you kind of maybe felt something. And it seems like there's, enough in here where I would have felt something. So I investigate a little further. And I go and I grab my boxers and I lift it up. And it goes from what looks like maybe like a dark brownish color to, as I lift my boxers, it goes to a bright red. And I see that my boxers are completely soaked, like blood red. And my shorts are also blood red. And I don't panic. I don't even react. I just kind of sit there. And I don't want it to be that it's like I was so calm and collected, like I was just so laid back, or I didn't care. It wasn't any of that. It was the fact that I knew exactly what happened. Because for the week and a half leading up to this day, I had a hemorrhoid that apparently exploded inside of my asshole that particular day at some point while I was doing the strenuous activity outside, which wasn't even that strenuous. I was lifting a few chairs. I bent over. Maybe a couple deep squats caused it to pop. Fuck if I know. I didn't feel anything, though. I didn't feel any sort of pain or discomfort, anything like that. It just happened. And the thing is, for the people who don't know, Google what a hemorrhoid is. But basically, it's like I think it's like a nerve. I had to look into it, obviously. Right, so it's like a nerve or like some tissue that basically like swells up, and it's like a little fucking ball in your butthole. It's like a little blueberry that just kind of sits there, or like a little bean. And I never had a hemorrhoid before. I had some like some times where I'm like, is that a hemorrhoid? But I'm like, no, it's not. I don't think it is. Like, nothing happened. But it was at one point I'd felt like discomfort in my, anus. But I would, go to the bathroom, wipe, and then be like, oh, it kind of hurts. And then I felt something there. And I was like, this is concerning. To the point where it's like I went to the store and got like stuff for it. Right? And I was just like, because the thing is, I don't like going to the doctor. I will not go to the doctor until like I really absolutely have to, which is like, it's like something's really bad if I go to the doctor, right? But I was like, well, I'm going to try to treat it and like look into it a little myself, because I'm pretty sure that it's something that you just get like given like a cream or topical ointment for. So I'll just do that, whatever. I just ignore it until it goes away, basically, is my philosophy on most health problems. But I get everything right, and then it's like the next day I feel like it's getting worse, and like it feels like more sensitive, and it feels like it's like more pronounced, right? So a few days pass, and I'm like, fuck, like I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I look into it, so I'm like, okay, now I actually have to do like some research, right? Things are getting a little dicey now. It's a little concerning. It's not just going away. It's becoming really well known, right? And then the thing is, it hurts every time you go caca. It's fucking not a good feeling. So whatever. I look into it, and basically like all of the things that I come across are reports, or not reports, but like results and things like that of like, well, it's either going to be like it's completely fine and it's like basically you get it and then you can take care of it and then it passes and then that's it. Or it's cancer. Or it'll clot and it can severely hurt you. Or it can kill you. Or it can this. Or it can that. Or it can be nothing. So it was kind of like one or the other. It was like Russian roulette. It's like giving you a bullet and you're like, it's either a blank or it's a bullet. So I don't know. Just pull the fucking trigger, man. Let's do this. Let's party. So I'm like, okay, cool. Typical Google search of like, okay, these are my symptoms? Oh, cool. I have cancer. Oh, cool. I'm dying, or I'm not. So that didn't help at all. And basically after that, I was just kind of stuck thinking like, well, I can just continue on and just ignore it, or I have to go to a hospital. The thing is, it said it can take up to like a week to clear, right? Where it'll just kind of like, it basically gets like inflamed and it just kind of goes away. And then like it unflames or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But I kind of figured, okay, well, it's getting worse and then it gets, it's always darkest before the sun rises, It's a beautiful thing. You really think about it. So I was like, okay, it's getting worse, but it's going to get worse before it gets better. Who would have known that a hemorrhoid can teach such great life lessons, I don't know, just something to consider. Looking at a silver lining, Anyway, so a week came and fucking went. And I was like, okay, well, this is not getting better. It's still very pronounced. I was trying like other things that it was telling me, like the internet places were telling me to do. And I was like, okay, well, this is just not working. It's just there now. And it's like, I even saw that it's like sometimes you have to get like surgery and shit to like slice it off. It's like a cigar cutter. And they just cut it off and then they just staple your butthole shut and you never shit again. Or I don't know, I didn't read that far, but I'm assuming that's kind of what the gist of it was. But basically it was like it can clear up after a week. If it doesn't clear up after like a week, you might have to go to a doctor. So I'm like, okay, well, that's going to be like my kind of like my go-to. Like it's going to be, because I even read it off the like the little things that I bought where it was like, oh, it can last up to 10 days or something like that. And if it lasts longer and the creams or the things don't work, you definitely need to go to a doctor because this shit is not going anywhere. So like a week passes and it's like a few days after, so I'm like on day 8, 9, right? And I'm like, fuck, like this is not good. This is not good, chat. So I say to myself alone as I'm touching my hemorrhoid. Not good. So the time comes where I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna party, right? And so that's when this day comes, and I'm like setting stuff up, and I'm like cleaning and doing all this stuff. Up till this point, I just kind of feel like when I sit down, I feel kind of like discomfort and kind of just like pressure. Like it just kind of feels like, I don't know, like soreness in your anus. It just doesn't feel good. It just feels like you've been, rubbing your ass all morning, and then now you're like, God, my ass is sore. And so when the day finally came, like it brings us back to where the story started. I'm like, oh shit, like I think my hemorrhoid burst. So I'm like, well, what do I do? So now the thing is, though, I'm like in the like spot for like, checking myself before I wreck myself. So I get like some toilet paper, do a quick expedition, I guess, and then check, and there's nothing there. It's like a little bit of blood, and I'm like, okay, well, it's not like I'm just like, it's not like blood is just like pouring out. It's just like it's kind of, you know, there. Also, I guess it's a little late for this, but content warning, whatever. I tried. Here, it's all my papers. I think over here somewhere. I think I have. No, I didn't write one down. Sorry. So I'm like, okay, well, I get in the shower, I clean off, and it's like, it seems fine. And so now I'm like in a place where I'm like, I don't know what to do because it's just like, is it fine now? Is it worse? And I feel it, and it's like, it's not there anymore. Basically, it's like, think about it like, like a water balloon that like sprung a leak. Like it's there still, but it's immediately smaller. And it's like, it seems like it's like getting progressively smaller. Like over time too, the next few days, it would get progressively smaller to where I just didn't really feel it anymore. But at the time I still kind of felt it. It was just not as like pronounced. And I was like, oh, okay. So it's like it ripped or something happened and fucking whatever. So now this needs to be resolved. Something needs to be fixed, right? This is not good. This is not good, chat. So I shower, I come out, and I like, check with like paper towel, or not paper towel, toilet paper. Okay. I don't clean my anus with paper towels. I'm not an animal. Unless we run out of toilet paper, then whatever. All bets are off. I'll use Chewy-Wees if I have to. So I get out and I'm like, okay, it's still bleeding, but it's not a lot, but it's enough to be like, if it's bleeding, you just get out of the shower and you check and it's like, okay, there's blood in, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and a few hours later, there's going to be more blood. So I'm like, fuck, like, what do I do? I'm like, now I have like people coming over. I have like myself in the shower with like, or in the bathroom with like my clothes. And I'm just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Do I just put on extra underwear? Do I just put on, other clothing? It's super hot outside, and I'm like thinking about it, like, man, I just wish there was some thing that I could put that would be like able to stay there and absorb blood from a private area. I just wish something like that existed, because I can't just put like toilet paper in my butt. That's weird, So I just wish there was some way I could have some sort of cottony thing that could just stay in any sort of private area and absorb blood. And it dawns on me that my girlfriend has pads in her like little spot in the bathroom, and I get one out and I'm like, well, there's a first time for everything. And I take it out and I unravel it, and I don't know how it works. And the thing is, it's like I have like my boxers are not like, tight on me. They're kind of like loose. So it's like if I put it on my underwear, it's kind of like just not gonna stay. It's gonna look like I'm wearing a diaper all day, So I'm like, I gotta get it in there. So I get it, and I just kind of like jam it up there, and then just fucking hope that it works. And I go out, and nobody is the wiser. Unless everybody knew, and they're like, it looks like he's wearing a fucking diaper. But I didn't hear anything. I'm pretty sure. I think my girlfriend would have told me at least. Been like, it looks like you have a diaper on. Because I told her. She knew about all this that was happening. So I told her and was like, can you see my pad? She's like, no, it looks good, girl. You're good. Don't worry. So God bless her, But after that, it was like what do I do? So I go through the rest of the day and it's fine. And like by the end of the night, I check it and it has blood on it. Right. So the next day comes and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll just put another one. And I did. And then by the end of the day, it was like, it was still bleeding. So I'm like, fuck, like now it's like, at first I was like, okay, well, the problem's done, like, okay, it's gone. But now it's like, this is kind of worse because now I just have like an constantly bleeding wound. It's not good. Not a good look. Okay. But I'm like, okay, I just need to get pads and have them on and make sure they're my size. So I had to go shopping. For pads. I was bleeding pretty profusely. I was in pain. I was getting these pains in my vagina and it's bleeding. I had to change my pad. I had to make sure my pad was on correctly or else it looks fucking stupid. And it feels gross having the pad on when it's like hot outside. And it was just miserable. And it was like that for, I think, like a week, another week and a half. I was just rocking a diaper pretty much. And over time, it was just like, we just kind of got used to it. I was used to the pain a little bit and then used to having my little diaper on and, started getting weird cravings. I was emotional, things like that. So, I think I get it, ladies. I think I understand now entirely what it's like, I get it. It's not easy. It's not easy for us. And that 1 week of having my asshole bleeding kind of and having to wear a pad pretty much lets me understand in entirety what it's like to have a period, So I totally get it now, ladies. And you know what? I do think that it sucks, and I do think that you guys should get days off of work when you're on your period because that fucking sucks, and you shouldn't be penalized for the things that your body puts you through. You shouldn't have to do shit that you don't want to do when you feel like that because my asshole is just bleeding from a fucking stupid hemorrhoid, and it was only for a week and a half, not for my entire life. So that's what happened to me recently. Just wanted to share that with you guys. Now that it's over too, I'm like, I don't, it's only, 40 minutes of this recording. Do I need it? Do I need to put it out? I don't know. I have a whole list here. I have my papers. But yeah, it's what happens. That's what we're talking about. Fears, right? Overcoming our fears. I'll overcome this one. I'm not getting in the fucking ocean. I'm not getting into a boat with a whale. Or not into a boat with a whale. I wouldn't be getting it. The whale wouldn't be getting it. Unless they're, the people from Walmart and the fucking motorized cars. You know what Just kidding. But no, I'm not getting in. I'm not going to go whale watching to overcome my fear. I'm going to be afraid of it forever. I don't need to overcome that one. Alligators. Whatever. I'll be afraid of those too. They're not that scary. I stopped having dreams about them, but they were, I think it's one of those things though. It's like, how could you not be afraid of, if you saw an alligator, you're going to freak the fuck out, cause it's like, it's an alligator, kill you. And it's like seeing a bear. It's like, I'm not afraid of bears, but I'm afraid of bears. I don't know, go fucking take my picnic basket. All right. Moving on. We're going to, We're gonna rapid fire through some of these. Let's see. YouTube. Any of you guys ever hear of YouTube? All right. So YouTube has some funny little quirks. I use YouTube for everything because I'm fucking autistic and just I don't really like watch Netflix or like Hulu or any of that shit. I just don't like. YouTube's kind of like where I go to for entertainment and stuff. It's also what I use like mostly for like music because like everyone uses like Spotify or Apple Music or whatever, but I use YouTube mostly because like there's also artists that are not on Spotify or like versions of their songs that aren't on Spotify or, Apple Music and shit. So I end up using YouTube a lot anyway, like for entertainment and for music. So that's kind of like my go-to. But they also have like little games on there, which is insane to me because it's like you could go on YouTube. If you use YouTube, then you probably know what this is, or if you don't, you can probably open it and it'll just be one of the first things there. It's like when you're on Instagram or maybe even TikTok. I don't use TikTok because I'm 31. I don't know if that matters. I feel like a lot of people my age use TikTok. Whatever. I'm just fucking lame or cool, depending on who gives a shit. But there's like those like ads for games that you can get where it's like, like the little man running down like a track, and then it's like it shows like you can add like a multiplier of like how many men you have, and then you have to fight, and then you do this and that. All those little like stupid ad games, right? And the thing is, YouTube has those actual ad games as playable games. And I was like, this is kind of interesting. And then I was like, okay, well, fuck around. I'll try it out. I go in and start it up, and it's just like, like just time waster games. Like you're just sitting there just kind of doing whatever. But it accumulates like points, and you could collect like, certain stones or whatever to do like what seems like you would be doing like upgrades and stuff, right? And then you go through, and then it's just like it just continues forever, like endlessly on all these games. It's just like different games you could just continue to play. And it's like some of them have like little things you can unlock. Most of them don't. And most of them, they're just like literally just time wasters. And I played it for like an hour. I played all these different little games trying to think of like, is there like a reason I'm doing this? Is there an ultimate like goal? Like, is there like a leaderboard kind of thing where it's like other people that play YouTube games and like compete or some shit, set high scores? Just not. I'm just doing it. I'm just here. Just play. It's like I'm fucking sitting in my room playing an Etch-a-Sketch. It's like what's the point? Why the fuck would I be sitting in my room playing with an Etch-a-Sketch? That's the same thing with that. So, well, that was the only thing I came across. So, moving on. Let's see. Movies that need to make a comeback. Animal sports movies. Air Bud. Maybe get some more animals in there, not just fucking dogs and monkeys. Okay? Monkeys in movies, first of all, being like the ones who are doing it's not that impressive. It's basically like a toddler being able, like if you put a monkey in a movie and he's like, oh look, he can play golf. So can a fucking 4-year-old. It's impressive, but it's just funnier because it's a monkey, which I get it. I love it. I'm just saying, mix it up. The dog, definitely not as into, because the thing is, the dog can't do it. I don't buy it. I don't believe that the dog could do it. Air Bud is bullshit. It's stupid. Because obviously none of these, it's all fake, right? Right? The thing is, if you put a monkey in, it's kind of believable because it's basically like a child, but with the strength of like 2 adult men, but also way funnier because it's a monkey. The thing is, either put monkeys back in stuff or add in some more animals. An alligator, a whale. I don't know. Like having animals dressed up as people, like Scooby-Doo. Remember that one scene on the airplane when he's like supposed to be his grandma or whatever? I don't remember. But I think you should bring back animal movies and just, mix it up or just put more monkeys in it. Fuck if I know. What else? Buddy cop movies. There's not enough of those. You don't really see like the kind of like shit just got real or like I'm getting too old for this shit. Kind of, buddy cop shit. Rush Hour. I guess they did one recently and it like wasn't that good or something. I don't know. I didn't watch it. I guess no one watched it. But maybe put them together, like a guy, he's like, you got a new partner. And he's like, oh, I hope this guy knows what he's doing. And he's like, he just got in from the jungle. And then it's like a monkey that comes in and he has a gun and he's fucking... I've been watching this video so much recently. It's just... If you're listening to this and you want to know what the video is that I've been watching, it's called Life is But a Dream. And it has to do with exactly what I was talking about. If you want to know what the video is, you can personally DM me and I'll send you the video. That's the only way you're going to know. That's how I know you were actually listening to this podcast. Because someone's like, hey, I need you to send me the monkey video. Like, what is this monkey video that's making you laugh so much? I can't even think about it without it making me laugh. It's just like the first 10 seconds. You just need to watch the first 10 seconds of the clip. That's it. It's like a minute long, but just the first 10 seconds. It makes me laugh 100% of the time. But you can knock out two birds with one stone. Buddy cop movies, animals in movies. You get a monkey in and give him a pistol and a badge. Tell me that's not the funniest fucking thing ever. Give him a gun with no safety on it. Awesome. You send him in. Imagine like there's like bank robbers and they have like a bunch of like people like hostages and they're just like, is that a monkey? And the monkey comes in with like like two holsters, like revolvers and a little cowboy hat. Kick ass, dude. He comes in and just starts shooting everyone in there relentlessly. It doesn't even matter who he's shooting, but we can't get blamed for it. You gonna do arrest a monkey? What are you gonna do? He's a cowboy. He's got two guns. All right. What other movies? 9/11 movies. Three birds with one stone, He goes in, maybe maybe he's it's like a monkey, he's like a terrorist. I don't know. I'm just working. I'm just fucking around, spitballing, The monkey doesn't have to be in every movie. I just think it would be cool to consider a monkey in a different role. Maybe he doesn't have to play sports or be a cop. Maybe he could be a terrorist. Maybe they could all be monkeys. Maybe they're just reenacting 9/11, but with all monkeys. And then there's two cops that are trying to stop it, but they're also monkeys. They don't also have to be... I guess that's Zootopia. Shit. Well, they didn't... There wasn't... Was there a 9/11 in Zootopia? Interesting. I have to look into this a little more. I'm going to write this down real quick. Add this to my research. Because if there's like cops and like police forces and a DMV in Zootopia... then there's, there must be like terrorist attacks, right? Like there like something like that must happen in Zootopia. It doesn't have to be in the movie itself, but in their universe, there might have been a 9/11. There might have been terrorist attacks. There might have been terrorist attacks beyond our comprehension. As like anthropomorphized animal people. It's possible. It's possible they could understand a level of terrorism that our human minds couldn't even comprehend. And that's terrifying. All right, moving on to what other... I guess there's not a lot of 9/11 movies in general. There's that one movie like... Was it Robert Pattinson? Remember Me? Remember Me? I think it's like, I think the whole thing, I don't even remember. I need to look into it. Or I won't. You can fucking look it up. I don't give a shit. But I'm pretty sure it's like a regular movie about like a regular dude. And then it's like a romance or some shit. And then it just ends with him like in the Twin Towers. And he's like, oh shit. And then the planes hit. And he's in them. It's called Remember Me. I don't know. Look it up. Okay. Moving on. Dick writing classes. Just going to go right through these. All right. I don't remember what that one was about. You could pay, I don't know, pay someone to just be like, I need to learn how to ride. And they show you. It's like twerking classes. Like you just go and sign up for a class on how to twerk, how to ride a dick, or like they have the like stripper classes, or it's like pole dancing classes. We're not strippers, we're pole dancers. Okay, so you can take a class and learn how to ride a pole. Take a class, learn how to ride a dick. That's a thing you could do, and then they show you, and then they're just like, you need to move your hips like this, and you can do it, and it's pretty crazy because it's just like women showing other women how to sit on a pecker. That's pretty cool. I don't think there's like male classes, deep strokes 101. I don't think that exists. I don't even know like logistically how a man would be able to do that. Just be able to have a group of men come in and be like, all right, boys. I'm going to show you how to give some deep strokes today. Okay. I don't think I could do anything like that. I don't think I could like watch some guy like fuck a dummy and then just be like, all right, oh yeah, I'll give it a shot. And then, get in line. You just be like, I can't wait. I think I got it. Check this out. And like, I couldn't be serious like that. I don't even think I could be serious doing something like, what is it? Like CPR classes where they like mess with the little dummy. There's no way. There's no way you could put me around that little dummy and expect me to not be like ridiculous the whole time. I just think having like any sort of little dummy like that is, it's kind of funny. It's like your life is in my fucking hands, man. And I can just slap the shit out of you if I want. Like I'm definitely not. I'm not participating in that. I'm not doing that. I'm not taking no dick writing classes. I'm not taking no dick giving classes. I'm just, observing. I'll go sit in on a class. I'm not going to participate. I'll watch a guy fuck a dummy, Just kind of see what happens. See what comes of it, All right. Moving on. Last topic here. Amazon. Okay, Amazon. You guys have heard of it. You guys know it, right? So one of the things that I don't understand, this is a very long list of things I don't understand. And one of them is I don't really get a bunch of stuff off Amazon. I just don't really use it that much, but my girlfriend does. And the thing is, it has like it has options when you purchase something, right? This is something I was looking into because I don't remember what it was, but there was like certain items I was looking at that were like pretty expensive. Like it was like equipment for recording, or I think it might have been for music or something like that. And I had seen the gear that I was kind of interested in, and thought like, well, I don't have the money for that right now, right? Because it's like, let's say it's like $800 for for a certain piece of equipment or whatever it is that you're trying to buy. It's like, let's just say it's like hundreds of dollars, right? The thing is, it has like payment plans that you can do where it's like you pay, instead of paying $800 up front, you pay like $80, and it's going to be $80 every month for this many months, right? The thing is, it also has a 30-day return policy. Pretty cool. Doesn't work out, you return it within 30 days, you get your money back. No problem, no questions asked. The thing is, if you buy something that's a super high price, like $800, and it doesn't work, you can just return it, right? You get your $800 back. But could you buy it every month and just return it every month? And then just continue to use it every month and never actually pay for it? You just have that pool of money that kind of goes back and forth, right? Seems like there should be something in place for that. They probably do. But I also thought you don't even have to pay the $800. If you do the payment plan, and let's say it's like, oh, it's just $80 a month, and you're like, well, I just need to use this thing for this particular time, and that's it. You pay $80 for an $800 item, receive the item, use it as much as you need within 30 days, return it, you get your $80 back, and you don't have to pay the full amount. Like, that seems wrong, right? Like, that seems like you can't do that. But why? Why can't I do that? Like, I'm playing by your fucking rules, Jeff, you know? The thing is, I don't know if there's like a way that because I didn't try it. I just saw that and I was like, well, what would stop anyone from doing that? Your morals? Come on. I just don't know. Like, there must be something in place to prevent that. The thing is, I don't know if it's something that everyone thinks about. I would love if someone tried it and reported back to me. That way it's your Amazon account that gets fucking banned and not mine. But something to consider, you know? Something to think about. Because at the end of the day, who gives a shit about Amazon? And, you know, they're not going to lose any money. They could lose $800 and it's a fucking drop in the ocean of money that Jeff Bezos has and Amazon has. So what, you know, whatever. Just go for it. Just get a bunch of shit and return it within a week. You have an extra $1,000, you're like, well, that's going to be like my rent money. I can't just drop $1,000 on this thing that I want. Just buy it and return it. Just buy it, use it, break it, return it. They're like, whatever, who gives a fuck? You got something coming, you got a big game coming up or a big fight you want to watch at your house? Buy a fucking TV. Buy a TV that's $1,000, get it for $100 in payment plans, receive it, watch the game, wire it up, take it apart, ship it back, get your $100 back, pay maybe like $10 in fees and shit. That's it. You do that every month. Every single month until your account gets banned probably. But if it does, you didn't hear it from me. And in fact, none of what you heard came from me. I am just a figment of your collective imaginations. And that is episode number 4 of At All Hours. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm sorry for not giving that content warning a little sooner. But remember, hit me up about that monkey video. It'll change your life, or it won't. Who gives a shit? Okay, bye.